guess, right?
Well,
or that was the foxhole one.
That was the foxhole one.
This Amateur Radio Roundtable is brought to you in part by ICOM America. Hello and good evening to everybody out there. This is Amateur Radio Roundtable. I'm Tom Medlin, W5KUB, and it is January the 14th. I think I can't keep up with the dates. January the 14th, and our main person tonight, we can't find him, so I don't know what we're going to do. We will still give away his prizes. In fact, we may give away a lot of prizes, since he's not here. But that's going to be fun. So we'll do that in a little while, but I'm sure Katie and I will have plenty to talk about here in a minute. And I know a lot of you are interested in our high-altitude, long-duration balloon that we are working on. And that's really exciting. I'll tell you a little update on it a little later tonight. But hey, if you're listening out there on WBCQ on 5130 kilohertz, send us an email to tom@w5kub.com, tom@w5kub.com. Tell us where you are, give us a signal report. Also, if you do have internet there, you can join the show tonight. It's a live video show. You can join in the chat room by going to w5kub.com and clicking on the little button that says live chat and video, and you'll be able to join us there. I don't know if you're new or not. We may have some new people in the chat room. If you are, let me know. I'd love to see if anyone's new here. I know in our get-togethers on 40 meters in the afternoons, we're starting to get a lot of people that are starting to join in there, and maybe they will be coming on here and watching the show and taking part with us. So if you're new and you just run across us here, join our Facebook group. It's called W5KUB, or it's called Amateur Radio Roundtable, or it's called a couple other things. We changed the name of it the other day just to get a little bit more notice out there. But you can join it. It's just called W5KUB, and we've got about 8,200, maybe 8,300 people in it now. So look, let's do this. Let me see if I can bring Katie in here, and let's just talk. Katie, it's going to be me and you tonight, I think. So let's see if I can do a split screen here. How you doing, Katie?
Hi, Tom. Hi, everybody out there. Nice to be back, and Happy New Year. It's already the middle of January. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, and you know what? It's going to be February soon, and oh man,
I know.
Woo!
February means it's time to go to Orlando and warm up at HamCation.
And I think the Earth is spinning faster than it used to, because I know my 6-month dental appointment comes around about every 4 months now. I just know it does. Yeah. Unless there's some gimmick.
They always say it does seem to go faster as you get older. And
yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, but it definitely.
Well, it's true for me, or else my dentist has got some kind of gimmick where he gets you in, like 4 times a year instead of twice. So I don't know, man.
That's actually a good reminder. I need to make an appointment with my dentist. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, well, my dentist doesn't let me forget, man. They come out here and knock on the door if I'm not there, Yeah,
I get text messages from mine, so I even got a birthday text message from them.
Well, you just had a birthday last week, and you played hooky last week. You know what? You played hooky last week, and look at this.
Yeah, that was that's been 2 weeks ago. Yep, December 31st was my 50th birthday.
Now, is that down in Miami?
No, that was in St. Augustine on a big schooner boat. Took a sunset cruise. It was a lot of fun. Met some really nice people and had a good time.
Cool. Well, hey, when I saw your picture, I just had to pull one out of me. I've been down here. Look. Hey,
oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
that's Miami though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Miami. Yeah.
Yeah.
In my job,
that's a lot of buildings in the background.
In my job, I used to get down there like every month, and I had to go out and visit people on boats and stuff, and all that kind of stuff. But since I retired 6.5 years ago, I don't get to do that anymore.
Right. Yeah, there's something to be said about retirement and some of those things changing.
Yeah, well, but hey, I guess it was a fun job. I don't have any complaints about it. So, okay, we're still waiting on Dave, and we're waiting on Michael to come on here. What else you got going down your way?
Well, let's see. It's been a few weeks since I've been on. I'm sorry, I haven't been feeling the greatest lately. So I've been, especially by the evening, I'm kind of worn out. And I came home from Florida with a kind of a yucky cold, so I've been having a little bit of hard time with coughing and breathing and stuff. I was down at Denver HRO yesterday and shooting a little video and picking up some pieces and parts so I can make some videos for the HRO YouTube page. And as I was talking through one of the segments, I started losing my breath. I'm like, good gracious, I need to get some Mucinex in me. I took some earlier today, so I'm hoping it's still in that 12-hour realm where I'll feel better. But I wanted to show off something again. I know you guys that are on our Facebook group saw this amazing present that I got for Christmas this year.
Let's
but
see it.
I thought I'd show it off again. So
this
nice. Is my wooden plaque that my son made. And then check this out. The light goes on. Let's see if I can get it.
Now, did he just do that for you, or does he make these kind of signs for people?
Well, he's been making this is the first sign he made, and I'm trying to figure out where do I go here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so I can. I just got to find. I have a spot right above me here on my side of the shack where I have it sitting, but I took it down so I could show it off. But yeah, I just saw. He sent me a photo. He made. He actually made a clock for my mom, which has the. It's engraved out in the wood, and it's a map of Sundance. And then up where we are in our neighborhood, put a little star. So she's got that hanging in her office. And then for a cousin, he made this gorgeous. It's like an old. It's an old map. It was pretty big. He said it took about 2 hours to print, but then it took about 8 hours to get all the pieces out to so you could see all of the details. But it's been having a lot of fun with that engraver, and is hoping to be able to. Get a business on the side going with that. And from all the people I've heard back from after showing off that nameplate, he might have some hams that'll be keeping him going.
Well, it looks really good, and I bet you he can, I don't know how long it takes to make one of those. If it takes 40 hours, then, you got to charge a lot for it, but
oh,
it looks
yeah,
good.
No kidding.
Looks really
and this
good.
one, with it being lit up, so there's a little bit extra work in there, but yeah, he's gonna figure all that out. He's got to do that, basic business planning stuff. Take a look at, how much does it cost to do it? How long does it take? And build that all up, and then figure out, how to charge. So, just like anything else, when you start up a new product, you can't just throw it out in the wind. It's good to know if there's people interested, but you got to find a price that works for you. So, as a business, but also that people are willing to pay and have a nice something or other in their shack. So it's always kind of fun to see that. But they're busy with babies at home and stuff right now. So that's, not like a huge high priority.
All right.
But it's fun.
All right. Hey, chat room. If you see W4MCA, that's Michael join, or if you see Dave Kassler join, KE0OG, let me know in the chat room. We've been looking for them. We're still going to do okay tonight without them. We are what you call professionals.
Yeah.
We're gonna do okay tonight. So well, I guess you're bringing Dwayne with you. I just heard that both of you guys are coming down to Orlando here in a few weeks.
Yeah, looking forward to it, and of course I love the HamCation anyway, and kind of made it. Dwayne's work schedule opened up a bit, so he's able to go down there with me, and said, "Oh, good, I'll have him help me a little bit with some of my video stuff, and have him practice a little bit." So he says, "As long as I'm behind the camera, I'll do a little bit, but otherwise, I want to go have some fun." And we just bought some dinner tickets to the Florida Contest Group, which, I've been to that dinner many a time. It's always a lot of fun seeing everybody from the FCC in their orange shirts, and it's a great barbecue dinner. And this year, K1ZZ, Dave Sumner's the guest speaker. So it's a lot of fun. There's usually a couple hundred people at it. It's a pretty popular dinner with all the contesters from down there. And there's always, a variety of people that attend, not just the Florida Contest Group members, but, folks like Gus from Wyoming, and Julio's there from Miami, and our friend George from Scotland, who he's down in Florida and in Scotland. We met up with him when we went to Sterling a couple of years ago, and so it's always a fun time to be able to catch up with a lot of people and do something after hours. It's still hammy, but it's funny. A lot of times I'll end up seeing some people at the Florida Contest dinner that I totally never even see during HamCation because it's so darn busy. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it, and I know you guys are going to be down there. And then you take off for a cruise again, right?
Yeah, Kathy and I will be there, and we'll do some. We'll probably follow you around and chase you around on Friday. Try to get some video.
Good.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to try to do a lot of video on Friday. Maybe we can get 6, 7, 8 hours worth of video, and then we're going to run it on the on w5kub.com all day Saturday. So the chat room will be open Saturday, and we'll be running HamCation video Saturday. Now, it won't be exactly live, but we may cut in from, from time to time. But we're not taking a lot of equipment or stuff with us down there. We're gonna catch a cruise down from Orlando while we're down there. So Orlando's just too far to go without doing something else while you're down there. So.
Oh yeah, I don't think that's one of the certainly part of the appeal of HamCation, because it is first of all, it's the middle of winter for most of us, and having an opportunity to go down to Orlando, which has so many other things to offer, for entertainment value, from all of the Disney things, Universal Studios, all the different theme parks and what have you. I mean, there's just so much to do down there, so it really works out nicely, especially if there's a family that wants to go to the HamFest, and maybe some of the family can go off and do some things while some of the family goes to the HamFest and what have you. But I think that's a big appeal of being able to go down to Orlando, or like you guys, you go off on a cruise afterwards, because you're there in Orlando, and you can just.
I would imagine Kathy will help me on Friday, with the camera and some of the things. But I bet you she doesn't come back to the HamFest on Saturday. I bet I'm there alone, just walking around and having fun.
You won't be alone, because everybody knows you.
Yeah.
So.
she would probably be a little bored there all day Saturday. I mean, once she followed me around all day Friday, she probably wouldn't want to do it again all day Saturday. So that's
I can't blame her.
Plan there.
She deserves a day off. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any pictures of Denver HRO? They're asking. Tom, you may want to mention the Big Northern Colorado Swap Fest in Loveland, Colorado, Saturday. Are you going?
Oh, yeah, that is a big swap.
Are you?
No, we're not going this year. We've gone in years past, and going back and forth to Denver this time of year is always sketchy. We really lucked out this weekend. Went down for a committee meeting and visit with a friend, and then managed to stop into HRO. But we've gone down to that event, and it is a really good sized swap fest, that's for sure.
Well, I've seen pictures that you've posted about this time of year. And you're right. You never know what your weather's going to be there, and you kind of live out away from people, don't you? I mean,
we're a little bit. I mean, we're out in the unincorporated part of the county, so we're not in town, but we are in a little neighborhood because it's an old military base.
I mean, I've seen pictures of maybe the road there, and it looks like snow was like 4 foot high on both sides, and I mean, you could get snowed in pretty easy there this time of year, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Well, yeah, downtown, if you go downtown right now, there's certainly elements of snow down there, but as soon as you get up the mountain into our neighborhood, then you've got, 3 feet of snow, and the roads are still full of snow and ice, and it's like a totally different world just, going up here. But you get used to it, and you learn to realize that while it may be snowing like a son of a gun at our house, it very well might not be doing that just, 4 miles down the road in town.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
HamBot just walked in.
Put myself on mute real quick.
Yeah, HamBot just walked in. Oh,
Oh, let's see.
All right.
Tom said he was
Sorry about
gonna
that,
cruise
guys.
on. Hey, Mara, we got Mark P. KE8HIW. Now, Mark, let me tell you something. Mark got his license. He wasn't a ham. He got his license, man, I don't know how many years ago now. I think last year. Not this year, but not this past year, but the year before. I took him a HF rig for him to get on the air. He just got his general license. This is HamVention before the last one. I don't know if he's even been on yet or not. Mark P., have you made any contacts? I built him an antenna, and I sent him an antenna and everything up there. Mark P., tell us in the chat room how many contacts you've made since you've been a ham now. And you've had that nice HF radio, and you had antennas from day one. This is like a year and a half ago, almost 2 years now. So my voice should be getting to Mark P. by now. Let's see what he says. Yeah, he's not answering. Okay. Let's see what else is going on in the chat room before we move on with some other things here.
Yeah, people are talking about Florida and key lime pie and things you can do down there, like Kennedy Space Center, and we did that while we were down there, and that was a lot of fun. And haven't been down there in a few years, and took the bus tour around the facility and saw everything related to the SpaceX partnership in there. It was really interesting. We took one of the guided tours, so we got a little extra information, and went by a building where the ham, there was a small building and the antennas outside, so we knew that had to be the ham club there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, our guide didn't know anything about it, but and I know some people that are part of that club, and I just at the time can't think about who was there, but I was just going to tell you something else and I forgot. Darn
All
it.
right, well, be thinking, and when you think of it, write it down on a piece of paper, or you'll forget again. Mark P. says, I can't hear you, but then I saw him say I need a bigger antenna, so I don't know what's going on with Mark P.
Oh, okay.
And speaking of Orlando, that's where they do the launch, the NASA, in that area, right?
Right.
I've never been there during a launch or anything. My kids were down there, 15, 18, 20 years ago, and watched the space shuttle take off that exploded. They were there when the space shuttle exploded there. So Chris is in the,
wow.
Everybody, Chris is in the chat room. AC5C, that's my son Chris. He's a Texan now. He left us and moved down to Texas.
Yeah, we said. Right. Oh, I remember what I was going to say was this past weekend was the North American QSO party on CW, and Dwayne got on and played. Was that this past weekend?
Yep.
Yeah, and then this coming weekend is North American QSO party for Voice SSB. And one of the nice things about that is, about this particular QSO party is, it's only 12 hours long and you can only operate about 10 hours of it total if you're going to, enter competitively. But it's all done without any extra power. Your maximum is 100 watts. So regardless of what you've got running for power in your shack, you have a shot at working everybody just like everybody else. So for us, the amplifier gets turned off and we just run it. And so I'm thinking Dwayne played in the CW under his call. So I think this coming weekend, I'm going to play NAQP under my call. I know I'm not going to spend 10 hours doing it because I just don't have the wherewithal to stick with it that much. But I think I'll get on and hopefully find a frequency and give away Wyoming to a bunch of people and then just search around and grab some others. And that way I can kind of share my weekend with some ham radio and maybe work in my craft room a bit. I'm still kind of cleaning up from Christmas things, and I've got some painting I want to do and what have you. But so that's a good thing to remember. And if you are wondering about the rules and all of the logistics, if you look, I'll put the link in the webpage, but I believe it's NCJ Web. Let me just double check here. Yep, NCJ Web. So November. So it's National Contest Journal. They're the sponsors of the contest. And you can look at the calendar and find the information for it and how you enter it. So you're basically giving, certain information. And I know one of the things in there is your name. And your name and your location. So pretty easy. Not too hard to remember that. And you can set up if you're using a software to log all of it. like we use N3FJP and N1MM, and there's settings in there for the contest. So your log will help manage all of it for you and can set it up, and should be a lot of fun. I haven't done that in a few years, so I'm looking forward to trying out North American QSO Party again. So again, like I said, it's a good opportunity if you're looking to put some states into your log. And so if you have a harder time sometimes getting out there because you're running 100 watts versus somebody else who's running 1,000, it's not an issue this weekend. So just get on the air and have some fun.
All right. Hey, the chat room. Chris just told me in the chat room it was 1986 for the Challenger explosion. Can you believe that? That's 34 years ago. Man, I thought it was like 18 years ago.
I thought it was actually earlier than that.
Yeah,
goodness.
34
86?
years ago. Katie, you were a little kid back then. I mean, you probably don't even,
I was almost ready to graduate high school.
You
at that
probably
point.
don't remember it, Okay.
Oh, I do.
All right. I tell you what, we're going to get HamBot cranked up here in a minute. We're going to go ahead and give those tickets away. We're 30 minutes into the show, and maybe Michael will still show up. If you don't, we're going to give them away. And
why not?
And
then I want to hear about what's going on with your balloon. Yeah. I was saying to Tom in the pre-show that I haven't been able to catch up with all of his postings on the Facebook page about all of the updates. So I was hoping he'd give us an update on the show tonight. So then I don't have to go back and read.
We'll do that. We'll talk a little about that tonight. The guy that won the tickets last week, he's going. He's decided to go to HamCation. So he'll be going down there, and he's going to put 100 tickets in the thing. Oh, HamBot's coming into the studio.
He's going to give Joe a run for his money.
HamBot's coming in the studio, but it's going to be a minute. HamBot's. We haven't used HamBot a lot lately, so he's got to kind of limber up a little bit, But we'll do that in just a minute. Okay, in the meantime, let's just take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
John from Orlando just said he's on his way to the chat room, so maybe.
Oh, is he? Okay, he'll join us. Okay, good. That's great. Okay, we'll be back in just a second.
Okay, sounds good.
LDG Electronics provides state-of-the-art antenna tuners for every amateur need. From QRP to QRO, fixed stations, portable and remote, an LDG tuner will match your radio to your antenna using our lightning-fast, proprietary tuning algorithms. LDG is a family-owned and operated company dedicated to bringing innovative, quality products to the amateur market. All LDG products carry a full 2-year warranty that is fully transferable. Support is only a phone call or email away. We're always here to help you. Visit us on the web at ldgelectronics.com.
Okay. All right, so we're having a little bit of problem here tonight. A few technical glitches. Hey guys, take a look at the IC 9700, ICOM 7300, and your 7610. Boy, there's some great radios, and you can't go wrong with them. Where were these radios when I was growing up as a teenager in ham radio? There wasn't anything like this. These things are amazing today. All right, let's see. I think HamBot is about ready, so let's just stand by a second, and we'll see if we can get HamBot in here.
Excellent.
Let me get the camera back up here on me.
Yep.
There we go. Okay. All right. And let's see if HamBot, are you around? Let's see. Okay. All right. Well, HamBot says he's ready there to try to give away 100 tickets here. So let's see if we can get a winner here. I'm sure Michael will probably join us in a minute. Now, everybody don't talk in the chat during the giveaway. Also, the chat room is official time. If HamBot says you didn't claim it in time, you can't argue with HamBot.
Oh,
We got a ticket already?
Yep.
That was fast.
Got it.
Mickey
was
N2MC1. Now, that calls familiar to me. Hey, Mickey, didn't you win the antenna analyzer one year at Dayton? If I'm not mistaken, I think N2MC won an antenna analyzer. Let us know in the chat room. Oh, there's Michael. Michael's there. Michael, let's get you in here. Let's see if I can add Michael. Let's see if I can get Michael back in here.
Oh, I know who Mike is. Yep.
I'm showing Michael's offline. Michael, I'm showing you're offline. I don't know, man. I'm going to try to add you again. All right, so we're trying to get Michael online if he wants to join us there. Michael, Cauley, you're showing offline. But HamBot did give you out your 100 tickets tonight. These tickets are great tickets. Now, here's how they work in case Michael doesn't get on here. You can mail these tickets in. You're going to get 100 tickets. You can mail them in to HamCation there, and they'll put them in the barrel, and you'll be eligible to win the big prizes like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the big prizes. You won't be eligible for the hourly prizes unless if you do go to HamCation, you can drop those tickets in your barrel, and you will be eligible for hourly prizes and the big prizes. So this is a big deal, very big deal to get 100 tickets to put in that barrel down here. They got some great prizes down there for HamCation. Okay, Michael says he's online now. Michael, can you call me? Maybe Michael should just call me on Skype if you can. I'll try to add you one more time. Oh yeah, he's online now, so this ought to work.
All right.
It should work here. Well, doesn't seem to be doing anything.
Excuse me.
Michael,
oh, there he is. I just see him
there.
there.
There he is.
Here he comes.
I see a little
drum roll, please.
Drum roll. Michael, you there?
I'm here. You hear me now?
I hear you. No picture, but we do hear you.
All right, let me flip my camera on.
Let's see your smiling face.
Let's see. All right, still no picture yet.
No picture. Let's see
Just
here.
at the bottom on your camera symbol.
Turn on
There you
video.
go. I think
Let's
you might.
try now.
Yeah.
Are you down there? Looking for you.
Well, we've really had a lot of problems tonight. You know, seems like everything
Yeah.
just doesn't want to work right tonight. All right. Yeah, my little ring went around Michael. Let's see. Still nothing for Michael yet.
Hey, Tom, your memory was right. Mickey said he did win the Comet 500 a couple of years ago.
Yeah. And you know what? He has tuned in his show ever since then. So we need to give out a Comet CA 500 antenna analyzer to everybody, so they'll always join the show.
Put your hand down over there.
All right. Michael, it must be the hot weather down here causing all these issues tonight. There you go. We got you, man. We got you.
Yay!
Well, can you hear me, Michael?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. Ben, I got you. Okay. Well, hey, we decided to give it away because we didn't know where you were, man. You must have been in a meeting or something.
Nah, that was fine. Not a big deal. So just trying to get caught up on HamCation stuff. Okay.
Well, cool, man. Well, hey, anything new happening down there with HamCation? You got anything secret you can tell us about?
Nothing really this week. The biggest thing is the Aero app. A lot of people's been downloading it. So if you go to your app store for Android or Apple, you can download it. Just search for ARRL Events app. A lot of people's on there now, and it will have all the updated information for the show on there. All right. Well, that's going to really be handy, you know. I'm going to try to use it.
I found it.
I'm going to try to use that while I'm down here.
I just found it on mine right here.
All right.
Yep,
All right.
that's
very,
it.
very good, dear. All right. Well, hey, Michael, the person, I don't have the name in front of me, I forget. The person that won last week, he's decided to head on down here and come down to HamCation. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's great. I received the email from him.
Yeah.
So I guess he really didn't trust his brother with 100 tickets, so he
That's
decided
right.
to bring
That's
them down himself.
And he's out in Arizona, I think. He's coming a long ways.
He is.
Yeah.
Actually, this week we've got a lot of people from California buy tickets.
Really?
Yeah, it was Neil.
That's good.
Neil N5 NED. It was the winner last week. And
Okay.
from Albuquerque.
So are people still sending? Is pre-registration, is that over with at this point, or I forgot what your timeline was for that?
It is not. I believe it is. You can pre-register up until I think it's a week before the event. At
okay.
that point, we shut down the website. Then everything will be actually at the show.
Gotcha.
Right now, I believe if you pre-register, we are not mailing anything out at this time, and everything will be held in will call.
That makes sense. Sure, that sounds good. So how's the committee holding up at this point? I mean, you got just a few weeks left. I bet everybody's getting excited and and frazzled at the same time.
Yeah, they are. Committee meetings, then a lot of small little meetings with the committees, meetings at the fairgrounds now, just trying to get everything wrapped up and ready to go for the event.
That's great. Did you if I'm remembering the last time I was on here with you like a month or so ago, was it this year that you said you've been able to add some more spaces for RVs? So if people were coming, or is that coming up next year, I think?
RV, we've never had an issue with the RVs. We can hold over 200 of them.
Okay.
For this year. One thing we did do this year was in our commercial buildings, we made all the spaces 10 by 10 spaces. So we've actually added around, I think it was around 60 more commercial vendor spaces in the buildings.
Wow, that's amazing. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
So, and of course, you have guaranteed that that'll be perfect weather, right?
Yeah.
You put your order in with Mother Nature.
We pretty much do that from as soon as HamCation ends. We start praying for good weather the following year. So
yeah, that sounds great. Well, I know we're certainly looking forward to it, and by this time of year, it's we get snow almost every day, and today had just a little bit of a snow squall, but it's as HamCation gets closer, it's always like, oh, I'm so glad we have the HamFest to go to in Orlando, Florida, and get away from the cold for a couple of days and catch up with a lot of friends. It's one of the things I really like about HamCation is you guys do get people, as Tom was mentioning, coming in from all over the country and out of the country too, and it becomes like your annual way, just like at HamVention and other major events. It's the place you get to go see your friends, maybe sometimes only once a year, because a lot of people are already down there in Florida or something, and
correct
or what have you. But I'm always amazed at the number of people from different places all over that make this an annual trek. So it doesn't seem to matter where you live, they make HamCation part of their annual ham adventures, if you will.
Yeah, they do. A lot of people we've noticed almost like Tom now makes an annual vacation out of it when he comes down.
Right. There he is. Yeah, and I think that makes sense, especially as I was saying, there's so many you have so many things that you can do in that area. And so if you come as a family, you can get in some of the ham radio stuff and then go do other fun things. And, our friends Robin and Ruth over in the UK, Golf 1 Mike Hotel uniform, and Ruth 2 Echo 0 Mike Hotel uniform. They've been coming every year for a few years now. And, they do the HamCation for a day or two and catch up with all of the friends. And then they go off and do some fun Disney or Universal events. And, for them to get out of the UK weather is, it's perfect to come out to Orlando this time of year.
So
today we hit 85.
Will Peter be coming back again this year?
They will not be back this year for HamCation, but they will be back next year. They are planning to come for the ARL National Convention, which will be our 75th anniversary of HamCation.
That's all right. Wow, that's going to be a big one next year.
It is.
Well, we've got 4 weeks
Well, we got less than 4 weeks now.
Less than that.
Yeah,
3 weeks.
yeah,
Oh, gee.
probably about 3 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, it's getting exciting, man. I'm looking forward to it.
But I saw you'll be on Neil Rapp show on Thursday night talking about HamCation. So that's another group of people that maybe don't hear us here on Tuesday, but be able to share the word. So that'll be good. That's always a fun show to be on.
Oh, well, and little thing for Tom, look
Yes.
for this in your mail.
Oh, I was going to
So
ask
you
about
shouldn't
that.
have any issue getting in this time.
Well, now
Look at
is that going
you.
to cover? Is that going to cover the guy that gave me the static at the fence there? It wouldn't let my car in. Will that cover that?
That one shouldn't, but this one should be very good if you put it in the window of your car.
All right. Well, I
Look
tell
at
you,
VIP
I
parking.
I'm a pretty easygoing guy, but I almost got in a fight last time. I tell you. All right. Hey, write a little note on the back there and sign it. Michael Cauley said, let Tom in. And if you don't know me this year, I'm the chairman, and just sign your name here,
I'll do that.
All right, great, man.
It's good to have friends in high places, Tom.
Well, I tell you what, I was afraid the guy was going to take his bullet out of his shirt pocket. I'm not kidding you. Yeah. But you guys do a good job with your security and the way you run things. It runs so smoothly up there. I don't see any issues with people. I mean, it's so free to get in and out of there. I'm just asking for kind of a special place to kind of, park close to the building. But it's so easy for people, I think, just to drive in there and park and be there,
Yeah, just like I said, also a new thing this year is the shuttling that we're going to do from the parking lots to the ticket booth. Some of our parking lots there are pretty far away from the actual event.
Mm-hmm.
So this year we've got extra shuttles that's going to run to haul people from the parking lots to the ticket booths and back and forth also, so people don't have to walk so far.
And that would be good in inclement weather, like hot sun, That's what I call inclement weather down here, the hot sun. I hope your golf carts have little tops on them,
They do.
All right.
They do.
All right, that'll work good,
Oh,
man.
wow, that's nice.
So,
All right.
so Florida, you
that's
got to worry
actually really
about
nice.
sunburns.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So, are
So
you
that's
going to
kind
be
of
back
what they
on?
do in
Or-
Hamvention also, right? Where they have the golf carts that go around. So if you buy a big radio from HRO while you're there and you want to take it back to your car,
Correct.
Well,
get a ride. Nice. All right. I'll
That's
have to
great.
remember that at the booth to let people
What-
know. They don't carry this. Go find one of the shuttles.
yeah, that's a great service that you provide, being able to haul
Yeah.
that stuff for people. I mean, 1 year at Dayton, I sold a Model 28 ASR teletype. That thing must have weighed 300 pounds. It was about 4 feet
goodness.
long, about
Yeah,
4 feet tall.
back when
and
I was
the
the
guy bought
tailgate
that.
chairman out in Tailgate,
Yeah.
somebody bought a repeater, which I think weighed about 500 pounds.
Yeah.
That
Oh, my
we
goodness.
somehow got it on the golf cart and got it to the person's car. And it took actually 4 of us to load it in his trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. My
Well,
goodness.
Yeah. In this case,
Wow.
the guy got it out to the bus. They opened the side of that Greyhound bus and they stuck that sucker in that side door there. And I haven't heard any more from him. But that's great. I like the old stuff. The new stuff's pretty light. You can carry it around with you. But man, I like buying that. 80 that thing with an 80-pound transformer in it.
A lot of people do. So our tailgate area is very busy. People go out there and look for those type of items.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, you can buy some heavy stuff. Quick story, 20 seconds or less. Up at Dayton one year, one of my friends out in the flea market, they had one of these pop-up campers out there, and it had a little bed in it, and the top popped up and everything. But one of my friends bought a big old transformer. It must have weighed 100 pounds. And he brought it back, and he was going to set it inside just to, protect it. And the guy wouldn't let him set it inside his camper. I think he thought it'd break through the floor. Oh man.
Oh, God.
Hey, do you want to do another one? Are you going to do another one next week? You want to do one, or do you want to wait a week and do one the week after, or do you want to just stop doing them? What do you want to do there, Michael?
We can do another one next week.
Vacation.
Sounds good.
Do you have any special discount up there? I mean, can people buy 100 tickets? I know in some places like Huntsville and places, I usually buy some extras like that and to donate to the Ham Fest.
Right.
It looks like John's putting some info in the chat room too for.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
For $2 you get 1 ticket. For $20 you get 25 tickets. $35 you get 50 tickets. $60 you get 100 tickets, and for only $100 you get 200 tickets.
$100.
So it will give you 100 chances
Wow.
of winning prizes.
And how many? What's the dollar amount of all of the prizes in the thousands?
A total will be $25,000.
Did you just say? Did you say $100 gets you 200 tickets?
$100 will actually get you 200 tickets.
Oh man, okay.
That's
Get
a
them
good
ready.
deal.
I'm coming down. I'm gonna try to win something. I'm gonna try to win something. This
So
year.
on Thursday they'll be available at the ticket booth. Then once the show opens on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they will be available at the prize and info booth only. At that point, you can buy them there.
Okay. Prize and info booth. All right, I know where that is. That's that
That's in
second
that-
little building over, I think, or.
Yeah, the north building. It'll be in the
Okay.
back of the north building. We actually got areas set up in there this year that you'll be able to actually fill it out, and some higher tables so you don't have to bend over, that you can actually stand, fill them out, stamp them.
good.
So you'll have a lot of room back there to actually do it this year.
All right, I got to remember to bring my stamp. If it had my call on
Dwayne,
there, if it has
We
got
got
my
our
name and
QSL
call,
stamping.
yeah.
Dwayne says, "I'm bringing my stamp with me."
I mean, some people are real ticky, fill out every single line. I mean, if it just got my call and my phone number or something, is that okay if I stamp them with that?
As long as it has your name on it, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, Michael, hey, thanks, man, so much for coming on here. Hey, we're going to be talking in a minute about our show's upcoming balloon launch. You're welcome to stick around and listen, or I know it's late there. Whatever you want to
Back
do,
to
man.
work.
yeah, let me hop out of here. I got some catching up on emails to do myself. So getting ready for HamCation.
All right. And don't forget
good.
to write that little handwritten note on the back of that pass there.
All right, I will.
All right, man.
Just send me an email with the winner's info for tonight, and I'll get the stuff out in the
Yeah.
mail tomorrow. Going.
Yeah, we'll get it
Great.
to you. All right. Thank you so much,
Okay.
man.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Michael.
it.
All
We'll
right,
see
Katie
you.
and Tom. See you
soon.
later.
All right.
See you soon
Bye.
there.
Bye.
All right. So
Boy, that really is a
was,
good
that was
deal
cool.
for the
I'm glad,
tickets.
glad we got him back in here with us.
Yeah.
Talked a little about it there. All right. All right, let's talk a little about our balloon launch.
Ooh.
Man.
Yes, I want to hear about the
this is
balloon.
exciting. I really got really interested in this when we launched the party balloon. A year ago, well, back in April, we launched a party balloon. It made it all the way past Japan. Just a cheap $3 party balloon, but it went down in a storm there. So we wanted to try something. We're going all in. We're going to play with the big boys on this one. We're playing with the big boys. So we're going to be running a scientific balloon. It's called the SBS-13. It's made by Scientific Balloon Solutions. And we're going to be using hydrogen gas. I've been reading up on hydrogen and all the precautions that we need to take. I've got some pictures here I'll show you. I don't have them in any order. Let's see if I can come up with a couple here real quick. They're not going to be in any order, so I'm just going to talk about them as we go through them here. And I don't have the picture here of our bomb suit that we ordered off eBay. I don't think I have it.
You got a bomb suit from eBay?
Well,
Like one of those big
we got
things,
the padded bomb suit, like the bomb guys use, except we couldn't find it. We can't find the top with the helmet. So whoever wears it, they're just going to have to kind of keep their head
You could probably
kind
buy
of,
a hockey mask. Or something.
kind of like a turtle, kind of go to. You're going to have to be like this, when we put the hydrogen in there, or hey, this thing might pop like a frog on a hot plate, man. We don't know.
Oh,
We don't know. So let me
terrible analogy.
let me pull up a couple pictures here. gee. Like I said, they're not in any order, so I'm just gonna start hitting them here. Oh, there it is. There's the bomb suit. There's the bomb suit right there. Is it? Yeah, we got the bomb suit on there. All right. Not sure if it's going to fit my buddy or not. That looks a little smaller. He weighs a little bit more than that, but we'll get him in it some way. I don't know. We'll get it in there some way. All right. So, all kinds of things going on here. Hey, basically, this is what, in a nutshell, this is what the tracking system is. We've got one solar cell. We got a light APRS-W tracker, which means it will transmit VHF on APRS. It will also transmit on HF for whisper. And then you can see the supercapacitors there. Now there's no battery. It will only transmit in the daylight, but that's okay. The solar cell only puts out 50 milliamps. So that's why we have to have the supercapacitors on there, because when this thing does a APRS transmission, it draws about 300 milliamps, but it's only for like 1 second. And those capacitors make up the difference there. So that's basically what we got. It'll be hanging by a special type of braided fishing line there, and you can see the 20-meter antenna. One half goes up to the balloon, and the other half of the 20-meter antenna hangs down below. The little green antenna there is the APRS antenna. That's the VHF 144.39, I think, is the frequency. There's the super caps.
How much does that actually weigh when it's all said and done, Tom? I know those types of things. You're always trying to be lightweight, but I mean, it looks like it's pretty.
Yeah, we got to be really lightweight. In fact, so lightweight. Everything is measured to the gram. The entire tracker system is going to weigh 20 grams.
Jeez.
Now, 20 grams is 0.07 ounces. 0.07 ounces. That's equal to about maybe 3 U.S. quarters. That's the entire weight of the payload. The payload, the antennas, everything is going to weigh just about equal to 3 U.S. quarters. This is, in fact, this is our VHF antenna here. This is a guitar string. It's a nice springy material that we're going to use. We've already got on the tracker. We'll cut it 19¼ inches long for 2 meters, and boy, it just stands right out. Just like it's on a steel spring or something. So it does really good there. So let's see what other pictures I've got here. I said we're going to be playing with the big boys, and the reason I said that is this project is actually costing a lot more money than I thought it was. We're probably going to have close to $1,000 in this launch. Now that may be hard to believe, but I bought a second tracker for backup or another balloon, and that's $115. We did buy the tank of hydrogen, and we did get a tank of helium. Hydrogen nowadays, a 14 cubic foot tank of hydrogen runs about $70. If you don't have your own tank, you add another 100 to that. If you want helium, the same volume of helium is double or more than double. It's about $170, plus a tank would be about $100 if you don't have a tank to swap in. The SBS balloon itself, the SBS balloon, and here's a picture of one being launched. Okay, that's not a picture of one being launched. I'll show you a picture of one being launched in a minute. But the SBS balloon is just a little under $200 each. And I probably have ordered 15 different orders of these supercapacitors, trying to get the right ones and the combination of weight and capacitance. And I'm always spending about $15 each time I order one of those. So, all Oh, and we had to buy a hydrogen gas. Hydrogen gas requires special regulators, so we had to buy some regulators for the tank, and they're anywhere from $250 to $450. So we got quite a bit invested in the in this launch. Now, again, we want to play with the big boys. We hope it's up 5 months, 6, 7 months. But it could go down in the first 15 minutes. We could lose everything in the first 15 minutes. So we got to really watch the weather. We got to be very careful here on our launch. Here's a picture of the same balloon. This is a picture of the SBS-13 balloon being flown by Ron out in California. Actually, that's the company that makes the balloon. That's K6 RPT. He is now, this is an old picture, he is now starting his eighth trip around the world, and he has been up for about 91 days now. This balloon has been at 91 days, and if you check out the top here, let's see, you see my mouse, it's saying that he's flying at 42,500 feet. And he's been flying right at 43,000 foot every single day for the last 90-something days. So the secret is to try to fly at that altitude, and that way that puts you over the storms. The storms will bring down the balloon in a second, so you got to be over the storms. So by careful weights and measurements and certain volumes of gas, you're able to set the altitude for this balloon to fly without it bursting. Now, if you make a mistake, for instance, if we make 1 gram mistake in our measurements here, the balloon could go too high and it could burst. So and because of that, I had to buy scientific scales to do all of our weights and measurements here. Scientific scales they measure down to 1/10 of a gram. Let's see what else we got here. You can see I'm measuring some wire here. This was our first attempt at the 20-meter dipole that goes on there. This is some pretty small copper enamel wire here. But you can see that weighed 5.5 grams. That's too much. Too much, so we went with smaller wire. Here you can see free lift information. 5 to 8 grams of free lift is what's suggested. Anything over that, we're gonna burst. Anything below that, we're going to probably get icing. We're going to get icing on it, and it's going to come down. So we got to be very careful in measuring our free lift. Power consumption there is say 460 milliamps on APRS transmit. I've measured it today, and it looks like what I can see. It was about 260 milliamps, but it's a very fast. The whole thing happens in about 1 second, so it may be that high. That's what the tracker looks like. That's the QRP Labs tracker. It's got a GPS built in it. The little white thing on top is the GPS antenna. It has GPS in there, and it also has an HF transmitter. And it has a VHF transmitter, one for APRS and one for Whisper. And it's got quite a bit of horsepower and memory in it where it will do certain things. It's going to transmit the APR signal every 1 minute, and about every 10 minutes we're going to get a Whisper signal. And the reason we wanted to do both is that APRS is very good, except there are no tracking stations for APRS over the ocean, and there are no tracking stations over Africa or the Middle East. So the last balloon we flew, we lost it for like 8 or 9 or 10 days. We didn't know if it was up or down as it went over the ocean, as it went over Africa and the Middle East. But as soon as it hit China, it popped back up on APRS, and it was popped back up on APRS in Japan. But by running Whisper to complement our APRS transmissions, the Whisper is going to fill in the map where APRS doesn't work. I just put the little tracker in the window today, and I was doing some testing on Whisper, And I was seeing people picking it up and giving reports on it as far as, I think, 4,000 miles away, and that was just right here in my window here in the house. So, at 43,000 feet, the whisper range is going to be somewhere around 5,000, 4 to 5,000 miles, and that's 10 milliwatts. 10 milliwatts. That's probably less than most of your Bluetooth stuff that you have at home. So 10 milliwatts is going to go 4,000, 5,000 miles. So if we're over Africa, people are going to pick it up in Australia. They'll pick it up in Europe, maybe in the U.S., and it will give us a supplementary plot on the map, and it will fill in. So this way we'll at least know where it is and it's still moving, even if APRS is not working there.
I just put the link to the info on the balloon from your website on our chat room too.
Yeah. So, and this is some of the trackers that people have sent up before. You can see the supercapacitors are mounted to the side there. The thing about the supercapacitors, those two supercapacitors there, there are not many supercapacitors out there of these values. That's like a 5 farad each at about 3 volts. So what that does when you put them in series, that gives you 2.5 farad at 6 volts. So we're having to put 2 together to get the voltage we need. These 2 super caps here will come in with a total weight of about 4.2 grams. That's a picture that didn't really have anything to do with us here. If you remember a minute ago, I weighed some wire for the antenna, and remember it weighed in at 5.5 grams. Look at this wire right here, 1.79 grams. And guess what? That also has the fishing line there that goes from the balloon down to the tracker, and every 1 foot that number 36 wire is actually attached to that fishing line. So that's a complete 20-meter dipole, 34 feet long, with the fishing line on it, and it only weighs 1.79 grams versus our initial start of 5 grams on the other wire, which I thought was very small. This is some small wire, very small.
It's just hard to, I see it, but it's just hard to fathom that it just weighs such a small amount and what it can do.
Yeah, that was just, I was testing one of the solar panels outside. Now this solar panel here I was testing, this solar panel is a 12 volt, 50 milliamp panel. It only weighs 1.5 grams, but I have been told by others with experience that after about 3 months, the UV radiation will destroy this non-protected solar panel. So we went with the very same solar panel, 50 milliamps, 4.8 volt at 60 milliamps, but the UV protected one. And guess what? It comes in at 5 grams. So we picked up some weight. We went from 1.5 grams to 5 grams. So everything we do, we've got to be so careful that the weight is starting to add up here. There's a picture of the solar panel. Another picture of a tracker. There we go. You can see the difference there. They're basically the same solar cells. 4.8 volts at 50 milliamps, 1.5 grams versus 5 grams. And we're going to use the 5 gram because what I'm being told is that there may be many balloons that you think have come down, but they may still be up only because the power supply failed and they're not reporting back anymore. So there may be a lot of balloons still circling up here. So we're going with the 5 gram UV protected solar panel. Now, up at altitude, there's a lot of UV, and this panel puts out a lot more than it does down on Earth. It'll put out more power up there. There's a basic picture of what the SBS-13 balloon looks like in flight. So you can see it's only filled maybe about a third, with gas. That's because that gas is going to expand, and you have to engineer and design this where it doesn't burst the balloon. Every 18,000 feet, that gas will double. So if we got 2 cubic feet there at 18,000 feet, we'll have 4 cubic feet. At 36,000 feet, we'll have 8 cubic feet. And so you can see where I'm going here. So we want to limit this thing at 41 to 43,000 feet. That'll just about fill the balloon up. We want the balloon filled up just where it's a little tight and not expanding, because if it tries to expand bigger than the balloon, it's going to bust and it's going to come down in the desert or in Oklahoma or an ocean. So that's kind of what it looks like there. This is the SBS 13 balloon laid out on a table. It's actually designed to fly 43 to 45,000 feet with 8 grams of lift. Now, we're juggling numbers here because our payload is going to be a little bit heavier. Our payload is going to be about 22 grams total, whereas a lot of people are flying 15-gram payloads. So we'll fly a 22-gram payload with 8 grams of free lift in that balloon, and hopefully it will not pop. Now, that's a little filler tube at the end there. We'll squirt the hydrogen up in there through that tube right there. And guess what the guy in the bomb suit gets to do? He gets to seal that. And the way you seal it, it's sealed by heat. So that's another thing we bought. We bought the preferred or specified sealing equipment to actually seal the balloon right there. So we'll go across that and it'll actually seal it. You know how these plastic sealers in your kitchen work, to put food in and it seals? That's what this does. We'll put a line across there and seal it, and then we'll take the line and we'll just flatten out that whole piece right there and seal it. And hopefully there will be no sparks. That's how the SBS arrives. It comes in a tube. That's got one balloon in it. I was watching a track here. That's the tracking from Turkey. Our trackers came from QRP Labs in Turkey. This is Bill Brown. Bill Brown's been on our show a number of times, and we'll probably use Bill's tracker when we do some more launches. But basically, he has his own tracker. It's called the Sky Tracker, and he has 2 solar panels on it and a super capacitor. So that's what Bill's looks like. Again, 1 gram on the wire. That's specs on the solar panel and the characteristics of the solar panel with the Ka. The Ka ending on that designates that it's UV protected. That's basically, we're not going to lay ours out like that, but that's basically a complete system right there. You can see the 2-meter antenna hanging below it on the right. You can see the supercapacitors, and you can see the solar panel. And then, of course, the HF antenna will run from that straight up and from the bottom of that straight down. Now, I'm trying to build in a lot of redundancy here. Can you imagine this is up in the jet stream and that little solar panel there is flopping up and down, like 50 times a second? Will it break one of the wires that feeds voltage to the tracker board? Well, we're using the guitar string again to connect both plus and minus to the board. That's very springy. We don't think it's going to break. Plus, then I used a piece of piano wire to go from the opposite end back to the tracker on the negative side, and we'll use some number 36 enameled wire to bring the positive side again back. So even if one of the plus or minus leads works back and forth and breaks, we will still have power coming to it through a backup circuit to bring plus and minus in there. But that's kind of what it looks like. Now, people are launching these, no case, no cover. They go up just like this. And you might wonder, what about water and stuff? Well, you launch on a clear day and you try to get it up above the storms before it gets wet. And I'm still working on possibly maybe taking a small sandwich bag, and I've cut it today, and I took the iron, this heat sealing iron, and I actually made me a little plastic bag that will just fit over that board. But that adds about 3/4 of a gram. Just a little bitty plastic sandwich bag adds 3/4 of a gram. So not sure how this is going to do. I'd have to figure out too how to get the wires in and out of the bag. There's a picture of the SBS balloon being launched with the tracker below it. You can see it again. It's got plenty of room to expand. Everything is measured. For instance, on the fishing line that goes up to the balloon, we're going to use a fishing swivel. Put a fishing swivel in here because up in the air, this tracker is going to be turning and spinning, and a balloon probably won't be. So we're putting a fishing spinning swivel on there. Look at that, 0.69 grams of weight. Can we reduce that? We might can take the little hook off that swivel, and that might cut that weight down to 0.4 maybe. So we might consider doing that, take the little hook off the swivel and still using the swivel. In our study, there's various different levels of propane. There are different gas tanks and so forth. There I was testing, inside testing some of the super capacitors I ordered. I had a very bright fluorescent light 2 inches above that solar panel, and it just was not putting, man-made light just will not fire up that solar panel like outside. You can see there about 2.3 volts. You can take that solar panel outside and it will hit 6 volts, man, in no time. So sunlight is the only thing to test them with. That kind of gives you an idea how small the tracker is. Again, you program it with just a standard USB cable that plugs into the side there. And you can set certain parameters in there, of course, your call and so forth. Now, I had the company that wrote the software, and the QRP Labs, they provide software for this, but in my investigation, I found one little flaw that I didn't like, and that was you can't transmit over the UK, North Korea, or Yemen. It's against the law. Well, I found out today that they only had it set to not transmit over the UK. So I can just see this thing getting shot down or starting World War III as it goes over North Korea. So I convinced them to write some more code. We've got the files now to put in there. So it's called geofencing. It will actually make a fence around North Korea, Yemen, and the UK, and it will not transmit as it goes across those countries. The solar cell, a question in the chat room. Solar cell is laying flat. It seems to not make much difference. It's laying flat, aimed straight up. Sandwich bag is good. We think a baggie would cause drag from the wind. Actually made a bag out of a plastic sandwich bag the exact width of the little board right there. It'll fit over that little board just like a sock, and it'll fit very tight. And but again, it's a 0.5 gram of weight. Let's see. There's that's basically the same tracker, except it doesn't have whisper in it. That's the APRS only. It's about $10 cheaper. You can see some of the connections. At the very top, it says HF ground. That's where we'll hook our 17-foot wire that goes up the line to the balloon. Down at the bottom left, it says HF. We'll connect a 17-foot piece of wire there that'll go straight down, hang down below the balloon. for 20 meters. And over on the right, that's where we have our piano. No, that's where we have our guitar wire. That's 19 1/4 inches. It's soldered there. So you can see each side, on the top each side, you've got a where it says raw. That's actually voltage in, and plus and minus. So you get it on both sides. So that's handy for us to put redundant power connections back in. As I said, I ordered a bunch of different capacitors trying to find the right ones. I learned a lot about these capacitors. I mean, look at the weights here. For the winter time, we need about 2 farad to add 6 volt, roughly. So the first one up there, the 5 farad, would be good, but it weighs a lot, 6.8 ounces. So the next one over is 1 farad at 7.5. We need about 2 farad, he says, in the winter. That's 4.63 grams. I found a 4 farad at 5.5. That would probably explode with 6 volts on it. But again, it's heavy. Look, almost 7 grams. Far left, there's a little one I found, 4 farad at 7 volt, 1.6 grams. You think, that's it. That's going to be the perfect one to use. But no, it's not, because there's so many different specifications on a data sheet that you have to read and learn about. And I think it's internal resistance. Even though this is 4 farad, it will only charge at the rate of 20 milliamps, and it will only discharge at the rate of 20 milliamps. Whereas these other ones, they will put out 2 and 3 amps. If I charge it with a solar cell, I could actually put a 3 amp load on that, and it would run it probably for several seconds. So the first one is out. We're back to the 2 that I showed you earlier. It's going to end up being 4.2 grams total. I'm looking at the wind. There's a lot of neat places on the internet, and this is an active page. You can actually turn the globe. You can look at different altitudes. There's at 35,000 feet. You can see where the winds are going. You can see where they split off and how they turn and so forth. So it's going to be real handy. There's a lot of different options on this page. Again, another picture of the wire. You can see the small wire on the right. Look at that safety pin. That's a small safety pin. The wire on the right is just a little bit bigger than a human hair. That stuff is so hard to work with here in the ham shack. It tangles. You drop it, you can't see it. You step on it. It's really difficult to work with. But we're having to do it. The entire 20 meter antenna will be about this little over 2 grams. I was practicing there on a little circuit board with just some pieces of heat shrink tubing that maybe that's glued on it maybe could help kind of act as a little spring for the wire that maybe wouldn't let it bend back and forth as much. There you go. That shows you the size of the wire. Look at that. This wire is 0.1 millimeters. Tell you what, I had some in my hand the other day and I dropped it and I couldn't find it. A lot of different sites on that tell you things like your wind and wind direction and all that. Let me pull up a web page here real quick for you. And if you guys want to follow the balloon, I'm setting up a web page on our site that will take you straight to the tracking to make it very easy for you. And I don't know why here we go. Let me log in. Just go to w5kub.com. And once you get there, click on the balloon tab. I can't see the tabs. I don't know, they hadn't loaded yet here. Okay, there we go. We're getting close. So I'm waiting.
I just plopped it into the chat room.
What was that? Okay. All right. So go to w5kub.com, and I've got a button here that says balloons. So if you click on balloon, what it's going to do is it's going to take you to a site here that gives you a little information. Now we'll reset. This is an old clock here on the left from our balloon that we lost in Japan, and it will actually tell us how many days it's been up and so forth. Now let me say one thing. This balloon here you see over on the right, that's the SBS-13 balloon. The one flying right now by K6 RPT has been up 91 days. 91 days, been around the Earth about 7 times. I think the record is 731 days, so that's about 2 years. So this is going to be important to keep it over here. If you look at down the left-hand side here, there's our mission. Our mission is to keep it up as long as we can fly this thing at this altitude. It explains the different ways we're going to track. We're going to use APRS. We're going to use HabHub. We're going to use Whisper. It talks a little about the payload. And over on the right-hand side, it shows you kind of a picture of how the balloon is configured. That's not exactly the right picture. There's the balloon. There's the tracker. We'll probably put a video right here under these buttons that show us launching it. And then these buttons on the top here will take you to different tracks. For instance, if I click on this top button, this is our APRS tracking. It's going to take us, I just clicked on it. I think I clicked on it. Let's see if it's going to work. For some reason, my studio PC here is not functioning very well.
Hey, Tom, we've had a question come up. Is there a way that people can donate towards this to help with the costs?
Well, right now, I mean, that would be nice, but right now everything's covered. If this gets exciting and we want to do it as a show again, we might do that. But we've got it covered right now. Okay, so this video, this is our promo video, but that will be changed right there. That will be changed to our launch video once we launch. And then down below that, we're going to have a day-to-day posting of the status of the balloon and so forth. But if you go up to the buttons here for tracking, if you click on the first one, that's using APRS. If you click on it, it's going to take you to the tracking for W5KUB-11. Now, right now, I've got it pointed at our friend's balloon, K6 RPT. Let me zoom out a little. You can see it's giving information on his balloon. Right now, if you look at this balloon, if you click on the balloon, it'll bring up a little box like this. And he's going 70 miles an hour right now, 70 miles per hour. The heading is 85 degrees, and he's flying at 42,460 feet. And his battery voltage, or his voltage, is 4.6 volts. And that's important because once we fall below 4.5, the tracker will stop transmitting until it charges. So let's see where he is there. This is his 8th time around the world. I'm gonna hit the negative here and just keep coming back a little bit. Let's see where he is. Okay, well look at this. He just passed. Oh, look, this is interesting. And you can move the map around. Look at this. Look where he just went over. Let me zoom in here. Yeah, so you can see he went just about straight over the capital of North Korea right there. So, and he didn't get shot down. He didn't get shot down. So now he's just about to Japan. He will cross Japan here, and he will keep going. Now, he only has APRS. So there are about 7 or 8 or 9 days in between. We don't get any tracking. If the sun is not out, no tracking. If he's over the ocean, no tracking. If he's over the Middle East or Africa, no tracking. On ours, we're trying to mitigate that with Whisper to get tracking where APRS doesn't track. So our track is going to be much better than this. So that button right there that first button takes you to APRS. Here's something else. I'm going to go back. Now,
we can track it again on this place is called tracker.habhub. I'm going to click on it. It's very similar. Actually, it pulls data off of APRS, but there's some interesting things here. Over on the top here, you can click on the little wheel at the top left, and you can turn things on or off. For instance, I can make it metric, kilometers, or I can make it miles, horizontal speed and hours. I turn receivers off. If I turn receivers on, let's see if it's going to do anything. See all those receivers? They kind of get in the way, and those are not APRS receivers. There's something else. So I just turn those receivers off. But daylight overlay, you can turn. Right now, you can see the dark line. You can turn the daylight off if you want to, like that, or you can turn the daylight overlay back on. So this shows you right here. If you look here, you can count the loops here. He's made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He may be on his eighth attempt back to the U.S. here. Again, you can zoom in and so forth. And here's a neat thing. We're adding to ours. All balloons don't have this, but we've added this to ours. It's called high split. If you look over here on the left, this is real important. If you look on the left, under the balloon, you'll see a button called high split. If you click on high split, look what it does. All right. So, okay, so there's an error here in his tracking. But what that is, it's just like your hurricane prediction. You know how you have the hurricane models that tell you where the hurricane's going? Well, the same thing here. You click on this high split on our balloon, it's going to show you where it thinks it's going to be going. So you can zoom right in here and look at that. So I'm going to turn high split off. So that's pretty good. Over on the side here, it's going to tell you, again, 42,673 feet and so forth. Okay, so that's kind of, let's go back to our page. So both of these will track it, but the second one does have the predictions models on there that you can use. The other one down here, I've got a link to Whisper. Again, Whisper is going to be our backup. I've got a link to Whisper. And here's some testing I did today. You can see W5KUB sitting in my window. Was being picked up in various places. And these are mostly U.S. places, but there's a 4,000 mile EA8 in Spain picked it up with it sitting in my window. So what we're doing is we have a friend in Canada, and I don't have his call in front of me, but he has written a Python script, just like Bill Brown has done, which will take the Whisper information. It will take the Whisper information and it will send it to APRS and plot it on the APRS map. So here's Whisper. Let's see. Here's Whisper. I'm going to put just my call in here. W5KUB. Let's see if we can get anything here. And I've got it on 20 meters. And I'm going to do, since I haven't been on, I'm going to do last 24 hours. And do an update on the map. So, WhisperNet's a little slow, but what that's going to do is this Python script will actually put on the APRS map. It'll fill in. We hope it's going to fill in and put the Whisper tracking points on the map, just like APRS would, but except there will be no APRS coverage. So we built in backup tracking to help us be able to see it a little bit better. Let's see. I think it's getting pretty close to the end here. Just filling the balloon there. You just put a little hydrogen in there. Let's see. Whisper is only designed for grid squares, and Whisper also doesn't give you altitude.
APRS gives us altitude, speed, and longitude and latitude, but Whisper only gives us a grid square. So our Whisper reports may not be exactly right. They may be off 50 or 80 miles, but they're still going to show us what country we're over and pretty much where we are when APRS doesn't work. So I think that's probably most of the things I wanted to talk about tonight on here. All right, well, I don't know if I showed this. Did I show this to everybody on the show? Yeah, there we are. Yeah, we showed this one. I didn't remember if I did this pre-show or if we did it during the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, welcome back, Katie. Glad to have you back on the show here.
Thanks, Thomas.
And I hear
Dwayne.
I hear Dwayne is working on maybe something. He'll be on here maybe in a couple weeks or something. He's going to tell us how to do something, right?
Yeah, he's been working on a project here in the shack and his headphones, and so we've taken some pictures as we've been working on it. So he's going to put something together. So hopefully in maybe the next week or two, we'll throw him on here and let him show it off. And I think it's a good thing the show's about over. I think my voice is pretty much done for the night. Sorry.
Okay, well, all right. Hey guys, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. It's time. It's just right at time to close the show.
Yeah.
And hey, I see Doc in here. WA4YYM. Doc is usually not in here this late. He used to be in here with us on Hangout every night after the show, and then he decided to go get him a government job, I think at the VA, and boy, since then he's had to get up early, and Doc goes to bed early, but he looks like he hung in here with us tonight. WDAIOL, you may have seen 30. I just didn't select it, but we're setting up for 30. The tracker will transmit on any band from low frequency 160 through 80, 40, 20, 15, 10. It'll transmit on all of them. So we're gonna use the 20 meter tracker. 20 meter frequency. Now, if we went with 10 meters, someone said, well, use 10 meters. Well, on 10 meters, we could cut the antenna about in half, and that would be about 1 gram we would pick up, and gain weight, 1 gram. But I don't feel real good about 10. I've been looking at 10, and there are tracks that are going 5,000 miles on 10 meters right now, but I'm just not sure I trust 10 meters right now the way the propagation is. So we're going to go with 20 meters. All right. Well, Katie, thank you. Good night, Katie. Glad you made it tonight, and we'll see you next week. And we'll surely be seeing you down in HamCation here soon.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Have a great week, everybody. See you next week.
All right. Good night, Katie.
Good night.
All right, guys. Well, I hope that wasn't too boring about the balloon launch. We're delayed. We're probably delayed 1 more week. I'm going to get Glenn Poppel, KW5GP. Glenn Poppel, KW5GP. He's our man, our Arduino man, and he's written all these books, and he's the expert. Well, this board basically is loaded using the Arduino IDE software. And I've got this tracker loaded, but we're making some changes to it. And I've messed something up in the Arduino IDE libraries, and I'm getting errors now. So he's the man who's going to help me fix this. I'm going to go down. To see Glenn at his home probably Friday, and we're going to add in North Korea and Yemen, and we're going to do a couple other tweaks to it and get it ready. My friend that's got the hydrogen now that went and picked the hydrogen up, he's going to be gone this weekend. So we're probably not going to be able to launch till next week. Again, I don't know how the weather's going to be the rest of the week. It was overcast today. So, and that'll give me time to do a little bit more testing. I really want to test the tracker board to make sure that Whisper and APRS is working. I wasn't having much luck with APRS today. It may be that I'm just too far away from an APRS digital repeater or something, but I wasn't getting good tracks on APRS today. Whisper was solid. So I don't want to launch this thing 43,000 feet and it get, 12,000 miles away and we don't get reports. So it's better to be careful and safe and to, try to make sure it's working right. Plus, we're not going to get any of this stuff back. Once it leaves here, it's gone, man. We'll never get it back. Yeah. All right. All right. Chris said he booted a guy by mistake. Oh, boy. Chris is bad. Chris is bad. Let me check real quick. Any last comments that I might have missed in the chat room here? Brett, I played with and I have set up FT8. I've never, in my 56 years of ham radio, I've never been a digital guy. Everybody's talking about the craze of FT8 the past year, so I did put FT8 in here, and I made a few contacts with FT8. I could hook it up, but yeah. All right, Jan, N8CBX, thanks, Jan. Let's see, Chris. Oh, he kicked Bill out. Oh, well. You'll have to apologize if Bill comes back. All right. Yeah, and Whisper does grid squares down to only 4 digits. So, like in Memphis, my grid is Echo Mike 55 dB, I think, Delta Bravo. That narrows you down inside the grid to much closer. But Whisper only does 4 digits, 4-digit grid square. So it's going to be in an area, at least we will know where it is. I mean, on APRS, if you're over Africa, you don't know where you are. Now, Whisper will show us that we're over Africa, so that's good. All right. The balloon tracker, if you're interested, it's just QRP Labs. Just go to QRP Labs. That's the balloon tracker. Also, you'll see it on our balloon page. We'll try to get a link there, but you can see the name of the board below it. There, it's just called, this one, the one we're using, is called Light APRS-W. The -W means that it has Whisper and APRS. It's about $115, $105 for the APRS only. But it doesn't include the solar panel, it doesn't include the supercapacitors, it doesn't include anything to mount it, to put it together. So I think Bill Brown's trackers are going to be around $159, but they come complete with the solar panels already attached and the supercapacitor and everything for about $159, and then you add about $15 shipping on top of that. All right, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Had a good time. Michael showed up. I didn't see Dave, but that's okay. We were still glad to have everybody there. If you're listening on shortwave, send us an email to tom@w5kub.com. And hey, if you're a new person to the show and the chat room tonight, say hello in the chat room. Probably all the new people have already gone to bed, but yeah. KW5GP, that's the man right there. That's the expert. That's the Arduino for ham radio, and we're going to put his skills and talents to use. Send me through to everybody. I'll watch the chat room here for a minute, and we'll see you next week.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.